Hello, everybody. Today was all right. Let's get into it. So, it all started at around 10 o'clock when I got up and I was asked by my mom to move my car out of the way so she could go to work. So, I did just that. She left. I drove up. Today was street sweeper day, so I had to make sure to be off the road so I wouldn't get a $40 ticket. So when I went back into the house, I remember I was. Oh gosh, what happened after that? I went in. I made breakfast. I had 2 eggs on toasts. Wait, no, that's not right. Sorry. I'm confusing that with yesterday. Turns out I had malto meal. I made malto meal, yes. I made the 2 serving size because the 1 serving size didn't really sound like it would be enough to fill me. So, yeah, I boiled water, I poured it in on stovetop, and yeah, I put it in a bowl and mixed that with some brown sugar and some milk and butter. It's pretty good. I then told my sister that I was going to be watching not told. I asked her if she'd be interested in watching the final batch of episodes of the show Smiling Friends with Me. And she said yes. So we sat down and we watched these final 2 episodes. The first one was about a character called Friendbot, which was this new robot that could print whatever picture that Charlie wanted. If he wanted everyone to be like a person dressed up in a hot dog costume, the device would do it. And then I believe oh gosh, red guy Alan was his name. He wanted the robot to do his work for him. And then the boss man did some unsavory things to the robot that were like, oh no, that's pretty messed up. But Pim's the outlier. He enjoys his job. He likes his job. He wants to do his job, but the thing is that the robot can do everything that they can do, but much faster. And so he's at a crossroads where he doesn't know what he really can do anymore. The robot mentions that he could make everyone in the world happy much quicker and more efficiently than he ever could. So Pim thinks about this, and so he decides, okay, sure, I'll ask the robot to make the world a better and happier place. And right when he does that, everyone else is fighting over the robot. Glep ends up unplugging the robot, and the robot turns off. But then it's revealed that the robot was actually just a scammer hiding inside of a robot suit the whole time, using programs like ChatGPT and other chatbots to get things done, which is pretty funny. And the most hilarious thing is that the person they got to play the robot, when it was revealed that he wasn't a robot and his robot head came off, was an Indian guy who I don't know. It feels like they probably got him off of Fiverr or something, because he just looks like he was reading off of a script on a low quality web camera, or maybe they decreased the quality of the his footage manually to make it even more funny. I'm not sure, but whatever the case is, it was really funny. Um, and yeah, that was the second to last episode, the penultimum, and the true final episode was Charlie and Pym are asked to make Charlie's uncle smile. So they find his uncle, Charlie's uncle, and to me, it sounded like his uncle was voiced by John DiMaggio, the guy who did Bender from Futurama and Jake from Adventure Time. I can't say that like 100%. I'd have to look at like the IMDb or like, Google it, but overall it did sound similar to John DiMaggio's. He did sound similar to John DiMaggio's voice, which is cool because I think that guy's a great actor. And basically, the story, there's also like a B plot where Alan is trying to date, or he's not trying, he's dating, and he meets this lady, and they start to enjoy each other's company. They do a little dance, they have some wine, and they're like on the beach. Everything seems like it's going great. Throughout the course of the episode, Charlie's uncle ends up getting into all kinds of trouble that ultimately sends Charlie, Pym, and Charlie's uncle to prison. The reason they went to prison was because they were all watching like these 3D creatures fight in like they were betting on fight. Well, Charlie and Pym weren't betting on fighting, but Charlie's uncle and a group of other dudes were betting on fighting. And the thing is, these 3D creatures that were fighting, they looked like they were animated by that guy who did those those old internet like cartoons back in the early 2010s, like the Wingardium Leviosa, that, and his last thing he did was he did like the Hellraiser cartoon, and his last thing he did on his YouTube channel was like a 3D cartoon of Final Fantasy VII. It was like, I remember it was like a guy going up saying, "Hey Cloud, time to go snowboarding, buddy." Bro, I'm sorry, man. I'm just thinking about that thing that happened. Can't really think of anything else. Oh, come on, you gotta go snowboard. It'll be fun. Just put your foot here, put your foot on the other foot, and my gosh, your boots are pointy. And then you go at the bottom. See you at the bottom, buddy. Yeah, that's pretty classic, pretty great. 10 out of 10, one of the greatest shorts ever made. I rewatched it endlessly as a kid, and sometimes I revisit it even as a 27-year-old man. It's a really, really funny little short. Thumbs up. But anyways, the reason I'm bringing that up is because the animator who did that probably did those 3D creatures in this last episode, which is pretty cool because I haven't seen that guy's work, him do any work in a while, so seeing something new from him is pretty neat to see. Yeah, and after that, I remember that there was that at the end Charlie stands up for himself. Charlie's uncle stays in prison. Charlie and Pym keep his uncle's dog, and then they walk out to the beach, but then the dog is let loose. And when Pym and the lady are about to get romantic, the dog comes in and bites the head of the lady, and it turns out the lady's head was just a mask, and it was really Alan's landlord who wanted to hang out with him. And he runs away, even running on water, which is pretty crazy. And then we have some humorous back and forth between Alan, Charlie, and Pym, and it's pretty good. Pretty good, solid end to the show. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone involved in the series, the storyboard artists, the animators, the voice actors, and also the creators of the show, Michael Cusack and Zach Hadel. Really looking forward to seeing what they all do next, because it was a really fun show. I really enjoyed it, but at the same time, I prefer creators do things of their own volition rather than feeling like they have to do things, just because it's expected of them. Like, ooh, we want Smiling Friends season 5,000, but I'm glad that the whole reason why a show is good is because like the people who made it actually wanted to make it and were trying to make it the best they could. But when you don't have those creative voices coming in to help guide and make sure everything is right, then the show loses its personality, and then the fans get upset because it's not the show that they fell in love with, and the creators feel kind of like, well, it's not fair to you guys, because the reason why we even have fans in the first place is because you expected something from this show and we can't give that to you. So trying to create a facsimile of that where all we really have are hands-off voice acting roles just wouldn't feel right. So yeah, ending it, even though there was a lot of people who were working on the show and were being employed because of the show are now out of work, I still think it was a good decision overall, at least for the integrity of making something that people were genuinely putting their passion and heart into, instead of something that just becomes another zombie show like Rick and Morty or Family Guy or The Simpsons. Nothing's worse than a show that starts out godlike and then ends up becoming just like terrible as time goes on. It's a sucky feeling. So I'm glad they stuck to their guns and ended it. But anyways, after that, my sister said she really enjoyed it. I remember she was like smelling her hat. She thought it smelled like weird, and I smelled too. I was like, yeah, that's a weird hat. So she was gonna go wash it. And then like, I remember I was like hanging out. We were talking about like that. Apparently, like Avatar movie got leaked online. And there's like, some serious like, trouble that Paramount is going through with all this. And a lot of the people who helped work on the show feel like violated because their work's being seen too early before it's supposed to. So yeah, pretty messy situation. I did think that was shame that did get leaked, but oh well. There was a clip I did end up seeing. It was like Zuko fighting like a guy, and the fight scenes do look pretty impressive. Characters have been aged up a bit, so it is interesting to see them approach these characters in a new light, which is pretty compelling indeed. Yeah, after that show, after watching all that, and then I got like in this like weird like rabbit hole of like Ren and Stimpy, and that they were gonna have a reboot in the early 2020s, but then there was like a lot of animosity and like vitriol behind the show that ultimately led to it never releasing. It did have 2 like episodes that were released in France apparently, but other than that, the rest of the series is like behind closed doors, and apparently it's been canceled. meaning like a show has been canceled before its episodes have even aired in the US. That's a rare one. Never knew that could be a thing that existed. But I think that's probably something to do with the fact that the creator of the series, like John Kay, is a known offender. So perhaps Paramount realized that they didn't really want to restoke any controversies by making a new show with someone who clearly is reviled by a lot of like people who, you know, disagree. Disagree with the ethics behind like making a show like this with the person behind it. Of course, now obviously he wasn't like hired as like a writer or storyboard artist or creative director again. But the fact he did invent the show means that his legacy kind of loomed on it, and that meant that like I think Paramount tried to compensate for the fact that it was kind of a boneheaded move to reboot this show due to the controversy surrounding it by like hiring exclusively a staff of women writers, and specifically women writers who've never worked in animation before. All they've done is live action sitcoms, which was weird. Apparently they did have like some of the original creatives come in there, but they took to social media after leaving the project, stating that the atmosphere there was very hostile, and a lot of the women who were working there said that they disliked or didn't agree with what the men's creative direction for where they were thinking the show should go. And it's clear that two creative forces were clashing. No one was really agreeing with each other, and ultimately you get a show that no one really wanted to make, and that got made anyways, and now is not getting released, probably because of all the controversy behind it. So yeah, one of those weird boneheaded moves from Paramount that I'm not exactly sure what they were really thinking when they even greenlit the show to begin with. They spent all that money to get these episodes produced, only to withhold and release any of them to the public. It's so weird. Such a weird situation. Well, anyways, I got caught in that because I was trying to look for clips from the new Avatar movie, and I remember that one of the episodes leaked on like a website for Ren Stimpy. I thought maybe I'd find the clips on that website, but I couldn't find the website that leaked the Ren Stimpy reboot episode, so I just ended up going, oh, never mind. But anyways, after all that, I ended up working on my journal for a bit. I tried to put in some things to do, like go to Grifols to sign up and get donate plasma, and then storyboard for my YouTube channel, and read Dune Messiah because that movie's coming out, then prepare for work and go to work. That's why I wrote down for today, but well, time will tell if I end up doing it or not, but I don't know. Probably won't do it at 6, but I guess we'll see. But anyways, after I ended up finishing working on that, I ate a hot dog, and then I made a sandwich. I put it in a portioned package, and I put some Chex Mix cheddar flavor in there, and some probiotic nut mix in another part of the container. My sister gave me an apple. I cleaned the apple. I got dressed and ready for work. I got in my car. I drove off. I told my sister that I love her before I left. When I arrived to work, I punched in. I checked the schedule. Turns out I was on sweeps the whole day. Put on my vest, did my duties, swept the produce, swept the break room, swept the store floor, checked the bathrooms. Rinse and repeat for a good um, 4 hours with a breakup done by either helping customers out, or there was like a lady who opened up a bottle of a kombucha and spilled all over the floor because she shook it. So I ended up coming in and wiping it. I asked for a coworker to help me so I could punch in my sweep. They were continuing to wipe it. And when I came back, I finished the job, threw everything away in a trash bin that I brought, and yeah, that was that. Yeah, I took orders out to customers waiting outside. So that's pretty much what happened. On my break, I refilled my canteen with water. I found out that we were giving away, that my job was giving away free juices, so I was going to get a juice on my lunch break to go with my lunch. I showed some of my coworkers the silly AI videos I generated with one of my coworkers. I got permission from, and they all thought, "Whoa, that's crazy." And one of them asked if I could generate an AI video for one of my co-bosses. I was like, "Oh, we'll see about that." So, yeah, eventually I punched out for lunch. I went upstairs. I had my food ready to go. I put the juice. Oh, I got the juice, and I put the juice in a bowl because there were no cups upstairs. So I sipped it through a bowl like it was cereal, like milk in the cereal bowl. And yeah, I remember I was like watching like why humming is good for you, and like another video that I'm forgetting right now. I think it was what was it? Yeah, I'm forgetting right now. Sorry. Oh, that's a shame. Oh well. Then I went back to work. I punched in. Before I left for lunch, I did take out all the trash, refill the check stands, and when I came back, I could dedicate more energy to bagging for customers because there was a lot of customers during closing. I wiped out all the check stands. One of my coworkers brought in the carts and signs, which I was very grateful for, and did the go backs, which I was also very grateful for. I even gave him a handshake as a sign of respect and thanks. I closed the produce blinds. I refilled the cleaners, the paper towels, and yeah, I punched out. And I asked my co-manager if they'd be cool with like making a cool little AI video with them, and they were like, sure. So I was able to make a video of like him protecting the store from a ninja trying to attack, and he was able to like do some epic maneuvers. It was pretty cool. I was able to show him. I'll show him tomorrow though, because it took a while for the video to generate. When I arrived home, I was trying to perfect the prompt and get the right video out. And when I got what I was looking for out, our family friend came out. I said hello, and she said hello back. She offered a quesadilla. I was like, yes. She made the quesadilla. I had that, and it was pretty good. And then she left back for her bed, and after I was done eating, I had some canned mandarin oranges with the juice. I don't know why, but I've been a juice fiend every time I arrive home from work these nights lately. Not exactly sure why. And then I took my vitamins. I brushed my teeth, and here's the new video. So that's pretty much a basic rundown of what mostly happened today. I kind of started to forget what I actually ate this morning, but I'm glad I remembered. So yeah, good documentation. Alright, well, I'm going to bed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.